Good morning. I'm higher vibrations and so are you. And if you do celebrate the 4th of July, happy 4th. There's a lot of energy coming in right now for us, which is assisting us, bringing us up to this most beautiful place where we can heal in a way that it would take lifetimes before. We have this planetary alignment still underway. We're still having the effects of the new moon, even though it's been a day or two now. It's still that new beginning energy that, hey, you get to start fresh. We're having all these solar flares coming in. The Schumann resonance has been spiking and going offline. All of this stuff has been brought to us to assist us. What does that look like in a physical way? It feels and looks like we're having more intense ascension symptoms. Whereas for the most part, it has to do with our sleep. A lot of us are having strange, bizarre experiences with our sleep now, where the exhaustion is just so deep. It's a deep exhaustion. Waking up after having gone to bed early and slept in, still feeling like you need more rest, needing a nap after your marathon sleep. At least that's been a very common thing for me. Some other people have reported the opposite, finding that they are really tired but not seeming to need as much rest. So, I mean, all of us are having our different experiences, but the sleep disruption stuff. So, like, more often than not, I'm finding myself at least once, but sometimes numerous times throughout the night, waking up abruptly in, like, the end part of a very important conversation with some, like, higher beings, and only knowing that by the resonance or the experience of energy present, and knowing the exchange was of that higher realm experience, but not being able to recall it. That is the thing that has been the most bizarre for me, is the lack of recollection of dreams. When we go into dream time, it's a space that has been really understood for quite some time, at least undereducated. It's more of an astral experience in that space. We leave our physical body and we go on to other things, and we're busy during those times. And so a lot of us are waking up extra exhausted right now. Plus, as our body is metabolizing these new frequencies, this higher code, these new energies, it's exhausting on the system, much like a baby needs to rest often. We are too. We're going through recovery from a lot of things. The ear ringing is still very intense. The disorientation and the dizziness tend to go hand in hand for me. The feeling of being all of a sudden being a lot taller than you normally are, or also a lot shorter than you normally are. A lot of times for me that has to do with where I am in my grounding. The shorter I am, the more grounded I am. But it's just a bump, like all of a sudden you're like a foot or two shorter, and it seems, thirst, incredible need for water right now. And not just because it's getting warmer. We're actually not really in our warmest time of the year yet where I live, but it's just this profound thirst. And also diet has been really strange. Over a series of years, I went from being full on carnivore, like give me a slab of meat and I'm happy kind of a gal, to basically being a vegan, and everything in between. I don't just stick here. There are times that all of a sudden my body's craving a meat or something that I know is disharmonious for this body, and I still go and eat it. I just try to stay as healthy and as clean as possible. The cleaner the food, the better. The lighter the food, the better. The higher the water content of what you are eating, the closer to the light space, the light meaning brilliance of luminous light, that we are going to be in, able to exist in, a little easier. If you don't do that, it's not going to change your experience, and that it might not be quite as smooth. But smooth even seems like a strange word to use, because if all of us are going to be going through a little bit of Ferris wheel experience in this. And that's okay though. Just know that we're all on this ride together. We're all going round and round, and it's okay. As we go around and round, we're going to find some more stuff. Like the hot, cold flashes are really weird. Like, the a lot of us are perceiving a new variety of color and light, and we have slowly been developing this for a while. The beginning of that was this blurriness of the eyes, where it looks almost like there's something kind of a film over your eye or something, and it just, but then also it helps magnify it and make it, I went through that not too long ago, but I was just talking to somebody else that are going through exactly what I had. So it's happening again. And I'm assuming it has to do with, as people come online, as they start to awaken into these different frequencies, there's certain things that we undergo in order to get to a place where we can perceive and participate at the highest level that we are capable of doing. And it's beautiful. And so this blurriness of the eyes, it's almost as if you're peeling away another layer of eyelids that were blocking you from seeing what needed to be seen is all. So remember, just know that it'll go away. It's a temporary thing. The sensation of being of vibration and tickling, it's happening a lot around the head for some people. I'm noticing it more like here and like above my head. Like I'm starting to sense a body above this body. It's kind of a bizarre thing. I don't know how to describe it, but I know that's, I already knew that was a thing and that was there. I just didn't know I would sense it like I am. Very interesting. As our third eye has been coming online, we're also having a lot of pain and pressure in a lot of these areas, and it goes into our ear canal. I think that has something to do with the popping that we're having, but also usually that coincides with ringing in the ears. And so just, you know what it means when it's happening. I think if you kind of know that it's okay and accept the light codes that are coming in for you, then there's a translation that can come. And that translation is simply just that knowing in your heart. Something that we have been taught not to trust in. So, I mean, if you're interested, check it out. We've been having a lot of like irritation bursts, like just really out of the blue and then gone, and that's also us experiencing the people waking up, but then also those in the collective that are still in their slumber. And we're feeling that. We're also having these anxiety attacks that have to do with heart palpitations. Not always are the heart palpitations associated with these anxiety attacks. Often I just have this massive heart palpitation, which is always when I'm getting an upgrade. These beautiful upgrades come in, and our bodies have to work to accept them, and so those massive heart palpitations come in, and often it does trigger an anxiety response for me, at least momentarily, just because oh my goodness, my heart is pumping and I feel it in my lowest rib, but it goes away, and it's always associated for me. There's always a ear ringing really close to that time in the proximity of that. We've been having a lot of different chakra activations, and one of the most difficult ones that people are struggling with right now have to do with the throat, and not exactly always a physical experience of the throat and the mouth region, but also the ability to communicate. I have historically been very good at articulating anything that it is I want to convey. And I'm finding it difficult to find the words and also clarity of tongue. Like I can't really make my mouth work the way that I need it to a lot. And that is so uncommon for me that it's worth stating. Things are popping into our visual range in a very, very interesting way. Not just like light orbs and the scattered, like almost cobweb light, colorful light things. But we're also having this thing where it often is interpreted as a psychic attack. And I'm not saying, I don't know what you're experiencing. However, from my experience, all of those different flashes that at first seem like a psychic attack, meaning like just a real, very just brief glimpse into something traumatic, something that you've not seen on TV or whatever. It's just this weird, and you see a moment, and those moments are those scattered moments that were ignored. That message that Archangel Michael continually brings up and brings in with love and asking and guidance is that we, instead of absorbing these stories, instead of exploring them and looking further into them as an inspector or detective might, rather simply see it as it does. You already did it. You saw it as it popped into your mind, and to accept it without judgment and to release it. For a lot of these things have been ignored, and it prevented that ability for them to be acknowledged. And without the acknowledgement of that's you were here, you were real, you happened, then there can't be a release. That energy cannot go on. And so it's popping in for us. We're seeing these flashes of things. Know that you're okay and you were not being harmed. Just send love to it and let it go. See it and let it be. And, as all this stuff's happening, often we feel this like vibrational shakiness of our core, like all the way down our spine. And that's the energy that is flowing through us. The down tends to be the light coming through, and then we have these experiences, these things that need to move up and out and through us. We are these light vessels for these stranded people that have been lost at sea for all this time. And that's why we are these lighthouses, right? We're drawing them in with love to show them that here you go. This is how you can go. For it's not that it's wanting to cause us harm. It needs our help to go, and if you're having these experiences, know that you're not alone, and thank you for taking on this mission. It is not easy. And as we do have those things, sometimes we take on some of the symptoms of those things because we're clearing that energy. It's like ancestral healing for everybody, whether or not you're genetically related or not. And so as this energy comes through, just know that we're sending the healing out and through and healing all that's involved. Something else that we're really having a lot of stuff going on with right now are like the hives, the rashes, the patches. A lot of people have reported various places on their body, but the one that is the most typical is on the leg region, whether like the lower legs, near the knees, the thighs, the hips. This area is the most common. However, I've noticed this red line at my hairline in the back of my head. It's like a dark pink, and it's thick all the way across. It's this really weird thing. And I've been getting this red line here. It looks like I'm a passenger all the time in the car, but I'm not. I always drive. And anyway, this line has been showing up for me. Also, I'm noticing that when I'm in a channeling space, there's this large a pink spot that comes up. I tend to put makeup on it because I have this really dark spot on my face. And a lot of us are having these different physical manifestations of things. Don't be alarmed. You're not alone. It's something for you to understand. Each of us have a unique story to understand. So there isn't a one size fits all, answer to that particular thing. Simply sit with it in meditation and you will find what it is. The twitching, the different muscle spasms, and really bad Charlie horses have been a problem. I'm not sure if I mentioned vertigo, but the sensation of vertigo just all of a sudden, and feeling faint. Like it's not that I've moved some way or I don't know, just all of a sudden I feel like I'm going to faint for a second. But all this stuff aside, all of these things that are, the itchiness and the crawliness and all that experience that we're all having, this is all just that junk DNA being turned back on. Like that 95% DNA that they called garbage before, was important. Surprise. And as these solar flares are coming in, as the codes are coming up from the Schumann resonance spikes and from the planetary alignment and all these cool things that we can't even perceive or even really know about, that's going on all around our globe right now, outside the globe and beyond, all being sent here. It's turning on that DNA. It's activating those secret codes. And so a lot of us are getting these awesome gifts. Please know that you're not alone, and don't be afraid. God is love, and all that comes from God is of love as well. And know that if you're being gifted these things, then you are worthy. Know that if you're watching this video, that you are one of us. We are familiar to one another because we've been here before on a different place. We do this often. You know what to do. I know it's been hard. Please don't give up. It's worth it. Thank you for your service. I am sending you so much love. Aha, blessings.